Who's there, Amanda? I don't have an agenda.
Well, we have Lexi here, and also Chairman Thomas, Supervisor Seaver, Supervisor Simpson is in here, Ryan, myself, Tammy.
Great. Okay. I'm going to open up the meeting for environmental concerns and real property. First thing I'd like to do is turn the meeting over to Lexi for real property. You got anything for us, Lex?
I do, Dennis. Sorry, there we go. I do. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was to just do an update on the Mullins property.
Okay.
I wanted everybody to be aware that the deed was recorded on October 27th. Oh, no. The right one. Yes, that was the one for the Mullins property. So that is recorded. I have reached out to the contracting company. We did a notice to proceed, sent that to them. They responded, pretty much immediately. I sent that to them on November 16th. We gave an effective date of November 25th. And so that will give them 30 days to complete. So they have to have it completed by December 25th. Merry Christmas, I guess, to Warren County, hopefully. So,
A little Christmas present for Queensbury.
yeah.
Yes, long awaited, but very good.
Excellent.
So, we have moved forward with that. Me and I guess Ed, I should say Downing from DPW worked with me on this and gave them some things to do. They did fill out a right-of-way work permit with DPW. I know they have reached out to ATL, who is going to be doing the monitoring of the project. And they did get copies of everything from ATL, the variance and the plan that they had drafted for us. So, excuse me, they are seeming to be moving forward. When I spoke to him, he was hoping somewhere in the first couple of weeks of December to mobilize to the site. So I'm just hoping that that works out, that they're there on time. So that's all I have on Mullins. I don't know if anybody has questions for me on the Mullins property.
Any questions, comments for Lex? I guess you covered it, Lex. We're good to go.
Okay, and then the next thing under discussion was brought to me by Supervisor Bramer, and I believe Supervisor Hogan was also involved in this. And it was asking if Warren County Real Property Tax Service Committee wanted to send a letter in support of an executive order to suspend the requirement to renew the senior citizens age and disability exemption for 1 year by local option. They had asked if I wanted to talk about it at the meeting, but I really thought that it should really be coming from a member of our local assessors association, since it is the New York State Assessors Association that is the ones that are originally reaching out to the governor. So I discussed it with Supervisor Bramer and Ryan, and we, I believe, have Lori Barber from the town of Lake George. She is the assessor there, and she was going to speak about this.
Excellent.
Lori,
Hello, can everyone hear me?
I can hear you, Lori. That's all that counts.
Okay, great. So the New York State Assessors Association sent a letter out. They're asking for support to help out our seniors this year with everything happening with the pandemic, so that the seniors that need to renew their senior or disability, it's just a renewal, it's not for the new ones, that they don't have to come into the office, that if they don't want to, they don't have to do it at all. We'll just use the same numbers as last year. If they choose to if they have different numbers and they think they can do better, then obviously they can give us a call and, we can figure it out. how to help them out so that, you know, we can protect them and keep them safe.
Great. Anybody have any questions?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I thought so too. Do you need something from us? Andrea, do you have something?
No, but I support this.
Excellent. Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
John?
Mr.
Okay.
Simpson, second.
Doug? Doug on the second. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much. Take care. Happy holidays.
You too.
That is all that I had on the real property agenda.
Okay.
There is stuff on the environmental concerns agenda. Claudia usually ends up handling that, but Dennis, I know you just said you didn't have a copy of the agenda.
I do not.
I don't know if Andrea wants to do it or how you want to handle it. You want me to read them? It doesn't matter to me.
I can read those if you would like, Dennis. Amanda.
Whatever you want to do.
All right. So the first thing on the environmental concerns agenda is the appointments to the Climate Smart Task Force. Those were discussed this morning at Economic Growth and Development. I did get an email from Chris Belden that he had revised the appointments that he was suggesting. And I see Chris on, so maybe you want to have him talk about that.
Did he revise it to put Andrea on there?
It looks to me like he's got the environmental concerns and real property tax services chairperson.
Nice try trying to throw me under the bus, but
So we're talking about Claudia being on it?
Yes, that was Claudia's recommendation, I think. Well, she said the committee chair, so as long as she is still the committee chair moving forward, she will be.
That's right.
All right. How's the committee feel about this? Any comments? Discussion? You all set with it? Somebody want to make that motion? You want making that motion? Andrea, is that what you're doing? Okay. Motion by Andrea. I need a second.
Mr. Simpson, so you will second it?
Excuse me?
Mr. Simpson is waving his hand saying he'll second the motion.
Well, I don't have Mr. Simpson on my board, so I'll never see his hand waving.
I'll second.
He's here.
All right, we got a second. Do you have something, Matt?
He's your second.
Oh, he's the second. Okay.
I'm just gonna go home since I don't need. I waited all day for this.
Can you take a hint, Matt? You lame duck guys are terrible. Okay.
My part here.
There's no further discussion. All in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks, Matt.
All right, next on your agenda are discussion items. There's a 2019 Building Energy Benchmarking Report. And that's included in the agenda packet. Chris Bowman is online, and I think he is going to go over that for you.
Okay. Chris, you're up.
All right. I'll try to share my screen.
Oh, boy.
I'll be brief because I know you guys have been on since early this morning. Okay. Just wanted to give the task force recommendations is part of the slideshow here, but we'll skip over that, seeing how you jumped the gun. I wanted to just kind of go over some of the highlights from this year for the Climate Smart program and task force. We met earlier this year before COVID hit. Had a pretty ambitious itinerary of things to get done, but the pandemic put a hamper on a lot of it. We were able to, through Supervisor Bramer and Tammy DiLorenzo's work, Warren County was designated a clean energy community by NYSERDA. We also earned bronze certification for our Climate Smart program by DEC this spring. In the last two items, I will, the benchmarking report and the grant, I will discuss in a minute. I wanted to also just kind of briefly touch on some things that are happening at the state level. A law that was passed back in 2019, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, set a whole bunch of ambitious targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions throughout the state to develop policies that are going to get us to those targets. They established a Climate Action Council, a state Climate Action Council, and they have 6 advisory panels listed there that are providing input with specific sector-based recommendations. And then they're also they also have 2 working groups. The first being the Just Transition is involved with making sure that with this new green economy that folks aren't left behind, that job retraining is available. And then also that the other working group is going to focus in on racial justice issues related to environmental problems. They are having their meeting at 2 o'clock today if anybody's still in the mood for webinars. But they're meeting, I believe, all through next year, and then this draft scoping plan with policy recommendations will be going out, I think, at the end of 2021. So a lot of issues that impact the county, local government, land use, housing. So if you want more information about when maybe the meetings are coming up, I'd be happy to share that information. Talk about our, so the Building Energy Benchmarking report is in your agenda packet. Just briefly touch on what it is and why we're doing it. What it is the collection, analysis, and then the reporting either internally or in our case publicly about how our buildings are using energy and using fuel. This was done through a resolution passed last November, and it applies to buildings over 1,000 square feet. So just to summarize, our report lists 29 buildings with almost 500,000 square feet of space. As you can see, some big costs, big energy uses, but one of the things that stuck out to me with this, we enter all the information into in this Energy Star program, and they spit out some different products. One of them being how much you're estimated to have released of greenhouse gas emissions. So using that tool, they estimate that based on those figures, we've contributed about 1,500 metric tons of CO2 back in 2019. And just to help some of you get perspective about what a metric ton of CO2 looks like, the visual on the left is something that was prepared for an organization in New York. That is roughly a 33-foot wide sphere of CO2. Warren County puts out roughly 1 sphere every 6 hours, at least back in 2019. With those numbers, that's how much we were putting out. So as you can imagine, these are the impacts coming from the county municipal side of things. But once you add in the industrial side, the commercial side, and residential side, there's a lot of things that we can and should do to try to mitigate those emissions, not only for environmental purposes but also cost. So those are kind of the metrics I wanted to share with the committee. I didn't know if we had any questions before we moved on from that.
Does anybody have any questions for Chris?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Brad McGowan?
No?
I don't think he
Oh.
can't see anymore.
I do, Mr. Chairman. You there, Dennis?
Yes,
Yeah, I have a question.
go ahead, Brad.
Thank you. Chris, this is great. My question is how does this compare to How do we compare to other municipalities the size that we are with our buildings and that? You know, I always like to get that National Grid thing, how I compare it to my neighbor. It's like
Yeah, right. I did not look at that as part of the report, but I could certainly go back and I believe there is a report you can run with the program. I can do so and send it out to the committee next week.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else, Chris? I mean, yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I wanted to just briefly touch on last committee. I asked this board with Kevin Hajos to get permission to submit a grant application to DEC for the promotion of recycling in the county. So we took advantage of that opportunity. It's a 50% matching grant. The projects that we've included would cost total $20,000, so we'd be looking for a $10,000 cash contribution from the county. So I'll just run through quickly what it is we're looking to accomplish. The first being to host a couple composting, how to compost workshops using the help of the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District. We'll pass out some composting bins. We're also looking to do some outreach on social media, so we would be looking to procure a design firm and do some social media content as well as some printed materials for distribution at transfer stations and town halls. Looking to install what's called a waste wizard. More or less, it's a database. This firm would come in, work with our transfer stations to figure out what's accepted where, and then use this, have a searchable tool embedded on the county's website where folks could, search how to get rid of C&D waste, the recycling, and the like. And then the last thing would be to purchase some recycling containers for distribution around the municipal center. And so it just happens to be that the county's in the process of adopting the local solid waste management plan. The actions that I mentioned before would hit 4 of the recommendations that were in that plan, as well as would meet the threshold for some of the climate smart certification actions. So it's a little bit of money that we have to put up, but I think it would help advance some of the recommendations that have been outlined by the county already. So before I move away from, I think that's actually the last thing that I have, except for the climate smart appointments, which we're already taken care of. But are there any questions about the grant?
Andrea?
Thank you, Dennis. By little bit of money, you mean $10,000?
That's right.
And where are you proposing that comes from?
Well, I'm not proposing anything yet. We have to get the award first. I guess we would come back to committee to have the board decide to accept the grant funds. The reason we didn't come more prepared to the committee last month was just because we found out about the grant opportunity and had about a week and a half, 2 weeks to put the grant application together. So if the county's not in a position to take advantage of it, we don't have to accept the grant. But I guess we were looking to discuss that next year.
Anybody else? Anything else? Okay.
All right. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Does Chris need a resolution to submit the grant?
No, we received, I believe that resolution went through last week.
Great. Okay. Anybody else?
I think that's it on the
Anything else on the agenda there?
Yep, that's all for your agenda, but can we go back and approve the minutes of the prior meeting?
Hey, Dennis,
Idea. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Chairman Dickinson,
Yes.
Supervisor Simpson. I want to make that motion, okay?
Okay, Doug seconds it. You get your name in there one more time, Matt. Any further discussion? All in favor? I'll take that as an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion to adjourn?
I second that.
Matt, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.